my home. These are my netas. These are my issues. These are my people. This is my election. This is my state, Karnataka. Watch State of War Karnataka Monday to Friday, 6:30 p.m. only on India Today.
As the countdown begins for Karnataka polls, crackdown on anti-flyover protesters. FIR registered against 70 Bengaluru residents.
Cannot harass citizens, they cannot harass individuals of repute at the wills and fancies of their masters.
Citizens cry foul, accuse police of arm twisting.
Any form of protest needs to be done only in freedom parks. See, this is the judgment given by the Honorable Chief Justice bench.
Government asserts no permission to protest. Our top focus at 6:30 p.m. with Nabila Jamal.
Watching India Today, I'm Nabila Jamal. I'm right here at the beautiful, stunning Sankey Tank right behind me. Almost a pride for Bengaluru, right at the heart of the city. We have a lot of news coming up in this special State of War Karnataka. But let me tell you here, elections in Karnataka are all set to take place on the 10th of May, pardon. And results that will be, or rather counting, is happening on the 13th of May. And right ahead of that, poll of conduct has been put in place across the state of Karnataka. And we see heated debates on various issues, pressing issues that comes down to citizens. Let me take you through our top news breaks, my top 3 focus of the day. Let me start with our first news break here that I'm touching upon in this special, is how 70 citizens of Bengaluru face FIRs against them for carrying out a silent protest march over, or rather against, a Sankey Tank flyover that's been proposed that will be literally axing through a green belt within this area. And that's precisely where I'm standing. I'm going to take you through the local citizens here as well who are upset with this and are now facing an FIR for raising questions. And then cutting across to my news break 2 that we're touching upon here is, of course, the Congress's dilemma. We're seeing several turncoats now, a bunch of them from the BJP have now quit the BJP, joined the Congress party, an unlikely affair as we've seen in the recent past based on trends. And now these same turncoats are demanding the Congress leadership in Karnataka to give them a ticket. And if they don't get a ticket, then they promise to intensify their agitation. They almost gave out DK Shivkumar today, and those are the visuals that are quite telling. The Congress now in complete confusion. And then our news break 3 that I'm going to take you through here is about a cattle trader, a Muslim cattle trader near Ramnagara, who was brutally murdered, and the accusation and fingers being pointed at a man who has some kind of links with the ruling. Those are the allegations here, and it appears that this has really led to communal tensions in the state and also sparked a debate on law and order situation under Baswaraj Bommai. All right, I'm cutting straight to our first news break here. 70 citizens of Bengaluru who were protesting against a proposed flyover on Sankey Tank now feel threatened and heckled because an FIR that has been filed against them that books them for unlawful gathering, for trying to disrupt public peace, etc. Multiple sections under the FIR that have been booked against 70 people who live in and around Malleshwaram. Now, I'm going to cut across exactly to a few of those protesters who were part of that protest on that fateful day to tell us a little more on what really happened. In fact, a lot of civic groups in Karnataka right now are enraged with this kind of FIR that's been filed on these protesters. Let me cut across to Preeti, who's joining us, a bunch of them who had taken that silent protest march here. Preeti, why don't you tell us what really happened that led to an FIR being filed against a whole bunch of you?
Okay, so in short, we've been opposing a flyover that's coming, like you said, which is going to cost the 55 heritage trees and the entire ecology.
I'd like my camera to pan there as well. Yeah.
So the entire ecology of the place will be, ruined. So we were opposing this, and anything we want to do around this lake area, we wanted to do a walk, celebrate Sankey. We wanted to do tree hug. We we wanted to do the silent march, which we actually did. And at every step, we've had cops calling us, threatening us, saying, no, you cannot do it. And
But you know what, Preeti, at the end of it, there isn't permission for you to carry out that protest march.
So
you have High Court. High Court clearly says there's a designated place to protest, and that's
it was never a
Not a
protest.
protest. I wish to clarify, we did not protest. It was completely silent. None of us carried any placards. None of us raised any slogans. We just walked as a group. Why are they harassing us? I'd like to ask the government this question.
Is this heckling you, Ashok?
Yeah, definitely. They're threatening us with all that FIR, and I don't know what they're going to do next year.
You're worried, but then, at the end of it, we've spoken to Ashwath Narayan. I'm going to take our viewers to what the government's version here is. But they very clearly says it's not even in their hands anymore. It's in another department, and that authority, in fact, the issue was escalated to the department based on your demands.
So basically, the police have clearly told me several times, personally, when they've called me, they said permission can be given. First, they granted permission, and then they withdrew it, saying they are under severe pressure. We don't know severe pressure from whom, right? And then at the end, they say...
so you applied for permission for this walk?
For the first walk. We wanted to do a walk on February 12th to celebrate Sankey.
So you were denied permission?
Yes.
And then you still pulled off the walk?
So we did. Then we decided we will do a silent walk where all of us were casually gathering. You can ask all of them. In fact, we had children doing a cleanup drive. We've collected garbage. We have evidence of all of us just walking. We did not even say a slogan. We haven't taken a placard. We just walked casually, everybody. And on a Sunday morning, there are several walkers in the area. You can ask all of them.
So was it a planned walk? I mean, this was done with an intention to show the government that you're unhappy.
Yes, of course it was, but we are supposed to be a democratic country, right? So what are we talking about here? We just walked. No slogans, no protests, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you were saying?
How can our democratic rights be trampled upon?
And this does not mean you can file criminal and law. You cannot file criminal cases against us. You can probably have given us a fine or something like that.
Right.
But we haven't broken any of the rules that what the police have said. They have clearly overstepped their authority.
All right. As much as you say that, I'm going to cut across to the Congress's Priyank Kharge. You had a former MP Rajiv Gowda who spoke on the same. Let's have a listen.
With a lot of responsibility, I am saying this. When our government comes, these officers who are acting as agents of BJP and slapping illegal cases on ordinary citizens, on working class, will be dealt with severely and legally. I'm not saying we will do something illegal. Within the framework of rules, we will take action on these people who are acting as agents of BJP and RSS in Karnataka. They cannot harass citizens. They cannot harass individuals of repute at the wills and fancies of their masters.
It is outrageous what Ashwath Narayan is trying to do. He is trying to misuse the power of the government and the police to threaten citizens and activists, young children and their mothers who marched on the banks of Sankey just to protect the environment, to protect the people of Vayalikaval from various disasters that will happen if this project continues. And instead of listening to the citizens and their concerns, taking advice from experts, what does Ashwath Narayan do? He files an FIR against 60 plus people, including me, including my party colleague Praveen Peter, and all of us, as you've seen in those videos. All we did as concerned citizens was march on the side of the road, on the side of the tank.
It is a suo motu by the police department.
Citizens again here. Of course, the government says this is politically motivated. You have the Congress backing you. Your reaction to that?
Of course, this is not. There's no political affiliations of any sort. All of us are here today. We are all not Congress people, right? 300 people were there. Were all 300 Congress people? That's ridiculous to say that.
Would you say the same? What was the purpose on that day?
We love.
We just love the trees. I'm known as the garden lady.
Yeah.
Well, we need to know this. We need to plan a little bit better, because if the trees are gone and if we are allowing for more motor vehicles to come on the road, there is no way for the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to be sucked. You know how it works, right?
Yeah.
I hope everybody knows how it works.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really bad for the air. We're going to become Delhi, really, the way things are going.
I hope not. But you know what? I'm going to cut across to Ashwath Narayan, though, your MLA here of Malleshwaram, and he's a minister himself. Ashwath Narayan, in fact, has assured that there is no intention from the government to heckle his people. And if this was done, it was done based on strict direction of the High Court that no protest is allowed anywhere apart from designated spots, like, for example, Freedom Park. But let me cut across to the Neta himself.
It is a suo moto by the police department.
Yeah.
Police people, they discharge their duty. They can book cases against anybody. They'll book cases. See, whenever there is
that's precisely what they're saying, that this is a way to arm twist them. Police are filing criminal cases against locals while they were not sloganeering, that they were not obstructing traffic. So is it fair to file an FIR?
See, fair or unfair questionability, anybody can question, that is all. See, basically now the protest, any form of protest needs to be done only in Freedom Park. See, this is the judgment given by the Honorable Chief Justice bench that any kind of protest should be organized in Freedom Park.
That this is also motivated by the Congress?
Yeah, definitely. Now Congress was time and again trying to instigate, motivate, trying to get into all this possible way. So they want to politicize during politics, during election. See, now the request is, what is that? Sky or flyover.
Flyover, they don't
It should
want.
be referred to the BMLT. What was the request? It has been referred to the, as per the mobility plan, to look into it. With regard to this petty case, whatever has been taken up, it is based on the judgment of the Honorable Chief Justice to ensure that there is a system in place.
Okay.
The police people have taken whatever measures to be taken based on that precautionary measure.
All right, there you have it. A clear direction coming in from Ashwath Narayan himself that there's no intention for the government to bulldoze an idea like a flyover. It's impossible for a suo moto decision to be taken by the government. It's going to be done with hectic consultation from all stakeholders, including the very same citizens that I've just spoken to. He's also assured that he cares for the citizens and they will not be heckled by the police. Let's hope that happens. I'm going to cut across to the big breaking that we're bringing in here on the Congress and its dilemma. Of course, the Congress now in a complete spot as we see many turncoats, those who've switched loyalties from the BJP and have now jumped to the Congress, demanding for a ticket. And they've promised to intensify their agitation if tickets are not given to them. Let me cut across to these visuals here coming in. In fact, we saw a bunch of protesters coming in to the KPCC office right this morning. Protests by the Madiwala community in KPCC, right outside KPCC office. We saw they wanted Gopal Krishna to get a ticket. And then we also saw Yogesh Babu, another Congress leader, his supporters as well, protesting hectically in front of the KPCC office, demanding a ticket for him at the Molakal Muru Assembly constituency in Chitradurga district. Remember, the same Yogesh Babu had lost his seat in 2018 polls, but his supporters now still wanting him to get a Congress ticket. But these are people who have switched from the BJP and come to the Congress, and now they're demanding, all right, we've switched our loyalties. What do we get in return? Give us our ticket. If not, be sure that we're going to agitate. Let's cut across to the political reactions on that.
We have to give some to all section of the society. It is very important on social responsibility. We will just work out. We have to give some to all section of the society. It is very important on social responsibility. We will just work out.
All right, let me cut across to Sagai Raj joining us, who's been tracking the protests outside the KPCC office. Sagai, you know, what a dilemma it is for the Congress. First, we saw, something called Operation Kamala, where we saw a lot of Congress netas jumping ship to the BJP in 2019, right after the Congress came to power with an alliance with the JDS. And now it appears there's somehow reverse trend that's happening. BJP MLAs and MLCs dumping the BJP, joining the Congress. But it doesn't seem like the Congress leadership here are able to manage this crisis, as it appears. It is a crisis because now they have to cater to the newcomers, or the turncoats, or should they cater to the actual loyalists who've been working for the Congress party? Tell us a little more on what we saw outside the KPCC office today.
The string wind is blowing towards Congress, Nabila, and if you notice that it is a problem of too many for Congress, because there are a lot of predictions and a lot of surveys which is being done by some agencies whether it is BJP or Congress, and they feel that Congress have an upper hand. Even internal survey of BJP clearly reveals that as of now, Congress have an upper hand when you compare to BJP. And leaders understand the situation, leaders understand the mood of the people, and probably now they feel that it is their chance to grab in, and that is the reason you get to see so many people protesting outside Congress office. And this is not something new for the Congress. We have witnessed even in the last time when there was a similar kind of protest which has happened when tickets were distributed. And people will protest when the tickets are distributed. People will protest much before the announcement of tickets which has been released. The list of candidates has been released. So it has been a continuous phenomena. And there is a history that even Congress has goofed up many a times while issuing the ticket, which has been very harsh to them post-election results. And probably now there is a calculated move which has been done by Congress. We have seen in the first list when they had released the candidate's name, about 124 people, and that clearly shows that there were a lot of calculation which has been done. And that's when DK Shivakumar, when he spoke to me, he has said that yes, we have to take
it's really
every single
left
community
DK
together.
Shivakumar in a complete confusion. We saw how the protesters get out DK Shivakumar, and it appears for once we saw DK Shivakumar at a loss of words. But Sagai, thank you very much for joining us on that. There are a lot more issues that are pressing right here in the state of Karnataka. And here's my news break 3 here, where we saw a huge debate on law and order in the state of Karnataka under Basuraj Bommai. So the issue that happened yesterday was a cattle trader, a Muslim cattle trader in Ramnagara, who was literally hacked to death. Idris Pasha was found murdered under mysterious circumstances in a roadside near Satanur village of Ramnagara district. Satanur, in fact, is the same area where DK Shivakumar, the Congress Neta, was born. That's his birthplace. In fact, the family of Idris Pasha now claims and alleges that the murder was carried out by a cow vigilante group headed by Puneet Kerehalli. And based on a complaint that's been filed with the police, they claim that Puneet Kerehalli harassed Idris Pasha. He stopped Idris Pasha while he was on his way from transporting cattle. Despite Idris Pasha having all the relevant documents to show that the cattle was legally bought and there was legal transaction happening, it appears that Puneet Kerehalli allegedly demanded 2 lakhs from him to cut through that area, to basically pass through that area. And when an argument broke out, finally this man was murdered. Now let me be very clear here. Puneet Kerehalli has not yet been arrested. There's a lot of clamour now why this man hasn't yet been arrested despite an FIR against him. Congress has slammed the government, saying that they're encouraging moral policing, and this is just the cherry. This is literally just the beginning of what can happen if the BJP stays in power. While you have B.S. Yediyurappa slamming this, saying that this is an isolated case and that the BJP has never, basically B.S. Yediyurappa has never discriminated based on religion. Listen in.
ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಅಲ್ಪಸಂಖ್ಯಾತ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡದೇನೆ ಹಿಂದೂಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಾನು ರಾಜಕೀಯದಿಂದ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ಸಿದ್ಧ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಭೇದ ಭಾವನೆಯನ್ನ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಿಂದೂ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಹ ಒಂದೇ ತಾಯಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಂತೆ ಬಾಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ದ್ರೋಹ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ದ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಇವತ್ತು ಹಬ್ಬದ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದ ಅಲ್ಪಸಂಖ್ಯಾತ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬೆಲೆ ಕಟ್ಟಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ರಾಘಣ್ಣನ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ವಿಜಯಣ್ಣನ ಮೇಲೂ ಅದೇ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸವನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಪಸಂಖ್ಯಾತ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಬಂಧುಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಮಾಜದ ಬಂಧುಗಳು ಸೇರಿ.
I blame the Chief Minister and the Home Minister. They encouraged moral policing. It is the responsibility of the Chief Minister. He himself said that he is encouraging moral police. This is the root cause. Mr. CM and Home Minister has to be. We should file a case on them.
There is a suspect named by Puneet Kerehalli. He has seen in BJP people. He has seen in Hindutva fighting. So he is from BJP government. So we are suspecting to take a good action against Mr. Puneet Kerehalli. So in that murder case, we are suspecting that Puneet Kerehalli is involved in all these issues.
Special investigation.
So we are asking to the police to conduct a special investigation in this case.
All right, Puneet Kerehalli, that's the man who's been accused of murdering this Idris Pasha. Puneet Kerehalli has not been arrested. He still remains absconding, and it doesn't seem like a crackdown has happened as yet. Therefore, questions being raised on the BJP government here. These are issues that are pressing and would certainly lead to influencing the voters in the state of Karnataka. We see the clashes between the BJP, the Congress and the JDS heating up ahead of polls. India Today right here on Ground Zero, bringing you all the latest for now. Thank you very much for watching.
My name is Nitya. I am a yoga teacher with Shrishi School of Yoga and a faculty with the Art of Living. And today I am going to share certain pranayams and mudra and asanas which are really helpful for us in the summer season. So the pranayams which we are going to learn today are Shitali Pranayam, Shitkari Pranayam and Bhramari Pranayam. So let's start with Shitali. So Shitali Pranayam, as the name suggests, Shital means cold or cool, and summers are all about warm and anxiety and stress, isn't it? So what we are going to do, let's learn it together. We are going to stick out our tongue and make a tube of it like this. And now we have to breathe in through this tube and then hold the breath, close the mouth and exhale through the nostril. And while we do this, we keep our palms on our knees facing the sky and the back is straight. Whenever we do a pranayam, this is the sitting position. You have to sit with the vertebra straight. This pranayam actually brings the temperature down. The body becomes cold and the mind becomes settled. But there are certain people who cannot roll their tongue. They are not designed like that. So there is an alternative pranayam which is called Shitkari Pranayam. In Shitkari Pranayam, what we do? We roll the tongue and we just stick to the upper palate like this. And then we clench the teeth and push the lips apart. This is the position. And then we breathe in through the clenched teeth, again close the mouth and exhale through the nostrils. So it goes like this. One other pranayam which we'll learn is Bhramari Pranayam. There are two ways to do the Bhramari Pranayam. First, we'll learn the difficult one. We make a Shanmukhi Mudra. What is Shanmukhi Mudra? We place the fingers on our face, closing all the five senses, thumbs on the earlids, and we breathe in, a long breath in, and we breathe out, making a high pitch humming sound. And we can continue, we can repeat it 5 to 6 times or 3 to 4 times as we wish. Really good to induce a peaceful sleep, so advised to be practiced before you go to bed. And there is an easier way to do this. If you find this little confusing, you can simply put the index fingers on the flap of our ears and keep flapping it open and close while we keep making the humming sound.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Everyone's been giving rave reviews about Swigato, the trailer that you guys just saw. It is a theatrical release. It's not an OTT only release, of course. I urge all of you all to go to the cinema halls and watch this movie. It's a tearjerker. It's doing well at film festivals across the world. But more importantly, I host a technology show for the India Today group. And there's a huge tech element behind this particular movie. It's man and algorithm. Everything changed during the lockdown. And content consumption patterns changed. More importantly, how we really ordered food all the time and were largely apathetic to the real situation on the other end of the delivery app. So how much of this, the script writing process was actually influenced, Nandita, by the algorithm?
Firstly, it was born during COVID times when, the irony of stay home, stay safe, I think wasn't lost on us because we were at home and we were still seeing these stories on television, in news about so many migrant workers trying to go back home. So much of joblessness had increased. People were doing far more menial work than what they deserved or what they were doing earlier. So there was all of this happening, and in some ways gig economy was seen as a bit of a savior. It was a new profession comparatively, and there were a lot of young people who were delivering things while we sat at home. And it was just I was just curious that what was their life? Because this was not a traditional workspace where you have colleagues and co-workers and a boss and you ask around and you complain about something. There was no contact. You were literally on your own with this one phone in your hand. And in a country that's largely, not so literate, grappling with rules changing on the phone, with new instructions, and, this ominous boss who's sort of invisible in some sense. Everything is on the phone. Who do you talk to? Who do you ask? Who is your colleague? So it was just sort of interesting that how these nameless, faceless people were just called, Oi Swiggy, Oi Zomato.
With two back-to-back sightings in Mumbai, Aam Aadmi Party MP Raghav Chadda and Bollywood actor Pariniti Chopra's sightings.
Good evening, you're watching Mission 2024. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. It's your one-stop test and